hi everybody. This is Brendan Gulick with Cleveland Baseball Insider as we get ready for the American League Wildcard Series here at Progressive Field starting tomorrow afternoon. It's Thursday afternoon here in Cleveland, and we just wrapped up talking with not only both managers, but a whole bunch of players came to the podium as well for both teams as the Guardians and Tampa Bay Rays get ready for their best-of-3 series. Wanted to share with you a little bit about what we learned today here from the Guardians and from the Rays. We got started earlier this afternoon here with Shane Bieber, who's going to be the Game 1 starter for Cleveland. Shane is really excited. He said, look, I almost need to be careful that I don't get emotional because this last 12 months or so has been really stressful for him after he dealt with a shoulder injury last year. And Shane did not get off to maybe the start he was used to getting off to. But boy, by the end of the season, Shane Bieber certainly looks like the kind of pitcher that Cleveland has grown to love and the guy who won a Cy Young Award. That's certainly the guy that the Guardians want on the mound Game 1 in the postseason. Shane said he feels great. It's been a great year, and he relishes the opportunity to be in moments like this. He also talked about how much he's learned from Corey Kluber. He said, look, when I was drafted and the team was going through their run in 2016, I was kind of watching from afar. But then as I got to know him and really grew to respect his professionalism and got to pick his brain on a bunch of different things, now they're obviously in dugouts across the way from each other as Kluber pitches for the Tampa Bay Rays. But clearly Shane is healthy and excited about an opportunity to pitch in the postseason tomorrow. We had a chance to talk with Steven Kwan, who has certainly generated a heck of a lot of buzz around Major League Baseball this year because of his incredible rookie season. Not sure whether or not he's going to win Rookie of the Year, but he certainly is going to get a lot of consideration. You can bet on that. Steven has really settled in nicely in the leadoff spot. He's played great left field all year. And I asked him about how much he's enjoyed essentially during this home stretch here where it's almost like the Guardians have had three center fielders out in the outfield with Will Brennan joining the fold as well. Not sure if Will Brennan's going to be on the postseason roster. We'll find that out tomorrow when the Guardians announce who's out there. But Steven talked about it being a real advantage for them because between what he and Will Brennan were used to doing coming up through the minor leagues and with Miles Straw, who Steven said is the best defensive outfielder in the big leagues, he said they really feel like they communicate well and they can cover a heck of a lot of ground in the outfield. And obviously with what Kwan has done at the plate this year, it's been really, really impressive. So fun to see his development this year. And he also talked a little bit about how much he's enjoyed playing chess with some of the local kids. That's been a fun story throughout the season. We talked to Josh Naylor, who was extremely grateful about both his opportunity to play this year in general and his time with his brother here on the big league scene. Josh obviously went through a brutal injury last year, and at the time you hope for the best and you don't really know exactly what your future looks like. He was emotional with us when he spoke in spring training about how difficult that rehab process was, but how positive he tried to stay and how much he leaned on a lot of the close people in his life, his family, his friends, and certainly his teammates. And he said, don't tell Aaron Savali, even though he said it into a public microphone. He said yesterday in the regular season finale, he said, I'm playing first base, and I actually was looking in the crowd and kind of zoned out for a moment because it was game number 162. He said, I got through the season basically healthy, and I had to snap back to reality because I found myself thinking about all of the things I had gone through and how grateful I was to be here present in this moment. I just thought it was really, really cool. We get a chance to see Josh Naylor really emotional an awful lot in the dugout. He's one of the more charged up guys in Major League Baseball for sure. But he's a pretty thoughtful soul, and it was cool to hear him reflect on all of that today with us. In addition to how much he's really loved playing with his brother Bo, he said, we're kindred spirits, we're best friends. Some of it is the brother component to it. He goes, honestly, there's a lot of things I feel like we're the same person. He's actively tried not to hold hands too much to kind of let Bo find his way. But obviously said, look, we live together and we do so many things together. We've really, really enjoyed this experience. My family's had an incredible, time relishing this. And, whether or not Bo's on the postseason roster, again, we'll find out. But certainly he's a part of this thing here late in the year, and it's pretty darn cool for the Naylor family. So we had a chance to talk with each of them and with Jose Ramirez, who, again, continues to be the heartbeat of this team. He draws an awful lot of praise from everybody when we talk to them. But Jose's a pretty cool cat, and he doesn't seem to ride too high or too low. He talked about how much he's enjoyed playing with Ahmed Rosario, and even joked that since Rosario's contract, it's not part of the conversation at the moment, right? The team is chasing a World Series. But he was asked if there had been any progress on his push to try to get Ahmed locked up here long term. And he even joked that he was going to give him $40 million of his own if it meant that he could stay here. You don't see too many guys say things like that. This is the kind of thing that Jose Ramirez lives for. When he signed his extension here in April, it's because he wanted to play in moments like this. He wanted to have opportunities to win championships here in Cleveland. And he's guided, in large part, he's helped guide this team to a 92-70 record when a lot of people weren't sure what they were going to have here in Cleveland this year. So he's healthy and happy and ready to start what he hopes is going to be a long run in the postseason. We also talked to Terry Francona. He was the last of those who came to the podium today for the Guardians. Tito, as irony might have it, today is the 10-year anniversary that Terry Francona was introduced as the manager here in Cleveland. It was October 6th, 2012. And his decision to come here and the franchise's decision to bring him here, I think, gave instant credibility to a team that was really looking to turn the corner after a frustrating and lean couple of years. And obviously it got off to a great start in 2013 and has been largely an overwhelming success, as Terry has obviously eclipsed the all-time record here for managerial victories in Cleveland this season. He's a pretty grateful guy too, and he doesn't reflect too much on the past. He doesn't like to do that when he's in the run of the season. But I asked him about, look, your time in Cleveland, you've made no secret about the fact that you like being here. He reflected on how much he loves Northeast Ohio, how much he enjoys the fact that, look, he said, if I can ride my scooter after the game and police officers will give me a high five whether or not we won or lost, he just kind of laughed and said, that doesn't happen everywhere. It's obvious that he is enjoying the fact that he was healthy enough to be in the dugout for all 162 this year, something that hasn't been the case for him the last couple years. And he is very clearly excited. And in his own words, he's nervous and scared out of his mind because those are the butterflies that you always deal with when things are really meaningful. And he hopes the guys on the team are going to use the adrenaline that they need to kind of get through this series. So that's the pulse of the Guardians. We also talked with Kevin Cash, Shane Mcclanahan, and Yandy Diaz on the Rays side. Kevin Cash is hilarious as usual. He was asked several questions about his relationship with Tito. I know he's kidding because they love each other, but he called him a child. He said he's a young toddler. He often checks the drawers in his managerial office when he first gets to Cleveland because he's not sure if Tito's left him any surprises. But, he said, look, it's somebody that has had as much, if not more, of an impact on his baseball life than anybody else. And he also said, a number of really nice things about his team as they get ready for the season to hit the playoffs here. Shane Mcclanahan, pretty focused. Somebody who's got some playoff experience after obviously having pitched in a couple of playoff games. He's had a heck of a year and has the respect of the Guardians clubhouse. You can certainly bet on that. Shane also talked a little bit about his relationship with Corey Kluber and said, look, I know I've pitched in the postseason before, but God, it's been really, really cool to pick his brain because he's as professional and stoic as they come. And he also shared off camera a fun little golf story about, Corey kicking his butt on the golf course quite a bit. And it was like, doesn't matter if the pressure's on or not. He said on a 580-yard par 5, he rips a drive down the middle and then hits a 4-iron to 4 feet in front of a whole bunch of people. And basically said, it just doesn't matter. He's pretty much good at everything. I think some of us know somebody in our lives that tend to be pretty good at just about everything. I guess Corey Kluber's that guy for Shane. And then asked Yandy Diaz just a little bit about his time in Cleveland. He's finally healthy and trying to get back in the swing of things. Yandy's obviously was a bit of a cult hero here because of he's about as well built as any Major League Baseball player. He's got biceps the size of tree trunks. Yandy is happy to be here. He thinks it's cool that he gets a chance to play here in Cleveland in the postseason, and he's grateful for this franchise giving him an opportunity to get his big league career started. And he said even though he hasn't necessarily played Major League ball with a lot of the guys in Cleveland's dugout, he said we certainly played a lot of minor league ball together, and I know those guys well. So That's kind of what we learned here at Progressive Field on what was essentially a media opportunity day and a day for the guys to work out. They have finished up their workouts and batting practice on the field already this afternoon. It is spectacular today. In fact, I'm wearing a sweatshirt that I almost don't need because it's almost 70 degrees here in Cleveland. The latest news, it looks like the weather is going to be a little bit chillier on Friday, tomorrow, when we have the opener. Saturday could be dodging a little bit of rain. We'll see. 48 hours away is still enough time for things to potentially change. And Sunday, if necessary, the weather looks okay, but it's certainly looking like it's going to be cooler, just like we kind of expect here in October in Northeast Ohio. I'm wearing red because that's the message from the team. They said, look, rock your red. We want this place to be as red and as loud as possible. Saturday is now a sellout. Friday, tomorrow for Game 1, there are some standing room only tickets still available, and there are more than standing room only tickets available on Sunday for the, if necessary, Game 3. So you can find your tickets and come down to Progressive Field and try to watch this team make a run toward a World Series championship. I know there's a lot of people that at the beginning of the season weren't sure what this kind of season and this kind of team could look like, but it sure has been a lot of fun. Over the last 30 games, they've got the best record in Major League Baseball. They're healthy. They come in with a ton of momentum, and I think it's going to be a lot of fun here this weekend. So here's to hoping it's a long run for the Guardians here in the postseason in 2022. We'll bring you all the latest on ClevelandBaseballInsider.com. You can follow us on our social media channels at CBI_FanNation. We're part of the Sports Illustrated Media Group on the FanNation Network, and we'll certainly put up as much content as we can on our YouTube channel as well, just like this, as well as the press conferences, so you can hear right from players and coaches as things wrap up. I'm Brendan Gulick for Cleveland Baseball Insider. Thanks for hanging out with us for a little bit. Look forward to seeing you down here at Progressive Field tomorrow.